Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam Gacchami Buddham Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam Gacchami Buddham Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam.
I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam La Janjo Pardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinzo Jebe Zonam Ye Dola Benjir Sanje Jubare Sho Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam La Janjo Pardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinzo Jebe Zonam Ye Dola Benjir Sanje Jubare Sho Sanje Joda Zoge Chonam La Chanju Pardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinso Kebe Sonam Ge Dola Penje Sanje Jubare Sho Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Shamdatha Gato Hyevatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Nathagato Hyevatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Nathagato Hyevatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the grace here. Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate gade parasam gate bodhisvaha. Okay, during the group discussion, I see that the very good questions are coming up. And yes, we'll try to take some of these questions in the class here. There are some good questions coming up. The number two thing that I'd like to share with you is that since that we have only 2 more days, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, only 2 more days, that in the morning we have the morning session, meaning from morning 5:45 through to like 8 or 7:30-ish. And this is done primarily for designing one's own daily practice. And what I would say is that since that is just another 2 days, and also that we already covered emptiness, and although in more like introductory form. So bodhicitta, the first method, I think we're going to finish, of course, easily today, if not this morning. And oh, by the way, today this morning is the last session, and then afternoon there is the talk and there's a talk there, but that talk is going to be in Tibetan, not in English. That talk will be in Tibetan. Yeah. And from 3 to 4. Then let's say 4:30. As of now, what plan do we have? From 3 to 4, 4 to 5. 3 to 4, what we can do is that you can have your regular group discussion, 3 to 4. Then let's say 4 to 5, we have tea break and group discussion here. What we do is that you can go like 3 to 4:30, and 4:30, between 4:30 to 5:30, we'll have a questions and answer session. 4:30 to 5:30. We'll have questions and answer session. The questions, particular questions coming from the group discussion, some of the questions are very good. And or let's make it like, let's say that 3 to 4 is the talk in Tibetan language. Then the 3 to 4 you can have your group discussion, 3 to 4, like 3 to 4:30, and half an hour break, and then 5 to 6. 5 to 6. Okay, somebody note it down. Okay, 5 to 6. Let's say 5 to 6 is the question answer, Q&A. 5 to 6. Then the 3 to 4:30 group discussion. Then the 4:30 to 5, half an hour break. So this is for today. And we can do the questions that your personal questions or your group discussion questions can all be brought up between 5 to 6. Or we can also, if the questions are good, we can extend it 6:30. Okay, this is for today. And we have only tomorrow and day after tomorrow 2 days, because of which the morning sessions, early morning session for the meditation part, those of us who think you like to know, you may not do now, but you may like to know, if I'm to design a daily practice, what should that be like? If you're interested in this, to knowing, if you want to do it, this is the best. Then the tomorrow and day after tomorrow 2 days is a great opportunity, because as in Delhi we don't really get the chance to do that, because that in Delhi we don't have the residential program. It's all just in the daytime you come, then the class over, we go. We don't get the chance to meet like this. So in the mornings what we do is and in other places also nowadays, I say even the number of the days for the retreats even reduced. Earlier it used to be 15 days, the first one, 15 days, and then later on gradually the number of the days cut. So now it's like 7 days only, wherever. Here, Deer Park, Route, Tushita, wherever it's like 7 days. And yes, it's a little too short. So what I'm saying is that those who want to have a daily practice designed, or you want to know how to design a practice for yourself, even just to have a knowledge for that, if you can tomorrow morning, and after tomorrow morning I'll be here for the morning practice. Feel free to join us. Okay, that is primarily not as a part of ritual of this retreat, as for the people to learn how to design your daily practice. For example, what we do in the mornings, this is exactly what I do in my daily life, and on top of that I may be doing a little bit extra here and there, but minimum what you do in the morning, that is a minimum practice, and that it takes like almost 2 hours, but when you do it on your own, it'll take like maximum 1 hour. And even that can be shortened to like 20 minutes, half an hour, 20 minutes. And if you don't have time, you can make it 10 minutes. And then shorter than that, sorry. Right? Okay, so this, we can design it. That finally there should be a dose of the complete practice on a daily basis. That will be helpful. For that matter, we are doing this not for any other reasons. So those interested, you can join us tomorrow and tomorrow morning. Okay, good. Now let us, and yes, there are also some very good questions on emptiness. If you have your personal questions on emptiness, bring this up between 5 to 6 today. You're getting it? Emptiness, Bodhicitta, and for example, like Mikhail, she brought up a question in the group discussion, very serious question, and then this girl brought up a question there. So we see that people have very serious questions, and yeah. So in the group discussions, the questions that we have, bring them, and your personal questions also, emptiness, bodhicitta, whatever. Okay, good. So now let's continue from where we left this first session. Where did we leave? Step number. Okay, we finished step 1 to 3. Now we are doing step 4 and 5. We have to, they follow the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No bypass, no shortcuts. Okay, step 4 and 5 combined together is known as the practice of Tonglen. It's a very popular practice, commonly known in the Tibetan community where there are some Dharma practitioners, you talk about Tonglen, instantly they will tell you, right? Okay. So the one thing which you may not so oftenly learn is that they may not emphasize too much on the first 3 steps. They say Tonglen, right? So I told you already this morning that it may not be too healthy to jump directly into Tonglen. It can create burnout in you if you don't include the first 3 steps. The first 3 steps must be included. The reason is for you to feel like the mother's love. When you feel like the mother's love, then the burnout will not take place. Taking the suffering from others, giving happiness to others. Okay. So, how to do the Tonglen practice? There are many ways to doing this. First is taking the suffering from others with emphasis on, with emphasis on compassion. Okay, Ben, this step, just mention okay, first Tonglen, requirement of the first 3 steps. Okay, so the first, taking the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion, where you have the first 3 steps so well, you you feel the demerit of cherishing oneself, merit in the cherishing others. So what do you want? You want merit or you want demerit? Of course, merit. We don't want demerit, right? We don't want the problems. We want the merits. If we want the merit, then we have to say we should see the what is the first one? Demerit comes from, cherishing oneself. You're getting it? So cherishing oneself, you see that as literally like a demon. Cherishing oneself is like a poison. This is what we should feel. And for example, say you meet with somebody, right, here in Thosamling, here we meet with people, and if if there's so much doubt, then it's so difficult to interact with other people, right? Somebody just casually picks up, just touch your book, even that is a problem for you. Why are you touching my book? Right? Okay. So, self-centered attitude, it really tortures us. Let me repeat it. Self-centered attitude, it tortures us. This really tortures us, right? In this connection, the Mikhail asked a question about attachment. Of course, attachment, always self-centered attitude is involved. But you know that it is attachment, but I'm not sure whether it is creating any harm. Or, because if there is no harm, why should I get rid of this? Right? This is a good question. And the thing is that what comes to your mind, that must come out. Because this is how we grow. You're getting it? Okay. So this, Mikhail will ask me later. Mikhail, you ask me later, okay? Good question. So with this, seeing the self-centered attitude, this is poison. Other cherish mind, this is medicine. How? Self-centered attitude is so poisonous. Okay, let's say that you go in the wilderness, you watch the Animal Planet, that History Channel, Animal Planet channel. And what do you see? One animal eating another animal, one animal eating another animal. You see that? Right? And what is it like? It's very scary. It's so painful to see that. And finally, which animal wins in the wilderness, in the forest? Stronger one wins, right? Stronger one, if you're born as a stronger one, then you win. You are happy. No. Even the stronger one will be eaten by somebody else. You're getting it? Who is the strongest one in the wilderness? Lions. Look at the lions. How in some cases, the hyenas, they kill the lions. Hyenas, they come in group. If you're alone, not the baby, the big ones, even the big ones, the strongest one, right? If they're alone, 20 hyenas will come and eat you up right away, right? And even the strongest one, the strongest lion, is also impermanent, right? One day will become weak. When we become, for example, say me, right? I'm in my 50s. In the wilderness, wild animals cannot reach to my age. They'll be eaten up by somebody else. Lucky that I'm, so when I cannot walk too well, I cannot go to the kitchen, somebody's there to give me the food, right? So this is the civilization. Whereas in the animal realm, no. If you cannot run for your food, you have to die. Somebody will eat you. You become food for somebody else, right? Even the strongest lion, even if, let's say 20 hyenas cannot eat you up, can easily eat you up. So therefore, usually they are not on their own. They are in group. They are in group. They are not on their own. So that we see that and then even if say you somehow you survive your 4, 5, 6 years as very strong, dominate everywhere in your territory, but impermanence will hit you. You grow older. And as you grow older, the younger lions will take you over. They will attack you. Younger ones. They will conquer your territory. You are getting number one. Then you become weaker. You cannot chase as much as you can do when you're younger. Then the other hyenas, they can sense that you are weak. They will attack you instantly and eat you up, right? And you can't actually, you can't see the wild animals like limping, limping and surviving for 1 year. No, they will survive maximum for 1 month. They'll be eaten up by somebody else. Yeah. Crocodiles will be eaten by the lions. Lions are eaten by the crocodiles. Everywhere somebody's eating, nobody escapes. In the ocean, how many creatures are there? Innumerable creatures are there. And again, who is the boss? No boss. Right? The bigger ones are eaten by the smaller ones. Smaller ones in huge number, they eat you up. And small ones are eaten by the bigger ones. Everybody's eating each other. Right? It's so scary. No escape. And for us, if somebody comes to eat you up, right, would you be happy? Not at all. It's so painful. Even if somebody says some nasty words, a very undesirable word, it pains you. If physically somebody eats you up, it's acute, unbearably painful. And this is what is happening, all because related to self-centered attitude. All related to self-centered attitude. Thinking of that, self-centered attitude, says self-grasping ignorance, complemented with self-centered attitude, makes you have the inappropriate attention, afflictions, desire, anger, and so forth. With these negative karmas accumulated, negative karma throws you into these undesirable realms, into these births. Then there the consequences experience results in the form of pains. In the process, again you accumulate so much of negative karmas in the process. Again you take birth, endless. This is known as cycle, wheel of cycle. So a cycle of samsara. This is a problem. All these are rooted to, they say, what is accountable for this? Self-centered attitude, along with the self-grasping ignorance. If you know that, if you see it's very scary to take birth like this, in the wilderness, in the ocean, very scary. So why I'm taking birth like this? Because rooted to the contaminated karmas, negative karmas. Negative karmas created by the afflictions, by the inappropriate attention, because of this self-grasping ignorance, complemented by self-centered attitude. That's it. So these two are the demons. What is demon? Somebody who harms you, who puts you into a difficult situation. These two are the things which create all the difficult situations. Say, for example, for us feeling hungry. Or for example, somebody says something and you feel so offended easily. And people abuse you, you feel affected, easily affected. So the moment that you suffer is that self-centered attitude, self-grasping ignorance, these two are acting on you. If these two are not there, guaranteed, no matter what happens, your mind will never be disturbed. Your mind is forever absolutely at peace. So why we are not having the peace is because of these two demons. So our job is what? Exterminate the demons. And what will help us to exterminate the demon of the self-centered attitude? Hey, self-centered attitude, bodhicitta, compassion. What is compassion? Take care of others. You getting it? So taking care of others is not like I'm taking care of you. No. Taking care of others is a safe haven to be rescued from this selfishness, the demon of the selfishness. Right? The more you take care of others, selfishness will go down. The more it goes down, you don't have to suffer. Like in the wilderness, in the water bodies, you don't have to suffer at all. You'll be freed. Right? So taking care of others is not really for others. It is for you to look for a safe haven. Safe haven meaning safety. Right? That you will be freed from what traps us into these acute pains, self-centered attitude. Okay, so this is the idea. With this mind, when you are very convinced of this, okay, all my sufferings, they're somehow related to self-centered attitude, self-grasping. You remember this morning I said one thing? So, no, when the body is eaten up by somebody else, naturally you will have a pain. It's not about selfish and self-centered. Okay, let's see. The dynamic between the physiological changes within your body, biological, physiological, and the psyche, the mind, how these two are connected. For example, say, biologically we have obtained the body. Then physiologically, let's say that, at the moment, if I take a sweet tea, how many of you like sweets, raisins? Okay, so you like sweets, and we take a, let's say, a chocolate, right? A sweet chocolate or a sweet cheesecake. You take it, I feel sweet, you also, those who like sweet, you also feel the sweet. Sweetness will be felt by both. But in my case, so look, the eating the food by the biology, your body, and then physiologically, you could feel the, you say, some changes in your physiology happens, and then that triggered the sensory feeling of the sweetness. And your mind, how it reacts. In your case, I like it. In my case, I don't like it. You getting it? Same sweetness, but some react as I don't like it, some react as I like it. You getting it? This is mind. This is mind. Where, say, purely physiologically saying, we say that the taste of the sweetness happens to me, and the people who like sweet is common. But how you react to this is very different. This is mind. So likewise, say, how somebody says something to you, right? How you take it, it's your mind. It's your mind. How you take it very offensive, take it as just very light, right? It depends on you how your mind takes it. Okay, so when with this full of selfishness, it can take as very offensive. When you take it very offensive, are you happy, not happy? Then the blood pressure, Subhashi, right? Blood pressure shoots up, right? Temperature shoots up. So the point is that the selfishness, even in our mundane life, day-to-day life, we see that those who are selfish, they take things too seriously and too offensive. Whatever you do is wrong. Something's wrong there. For example, say in a family, right? Somebody who's very selfish, right? Say, if the flower is kept on the table, you say that you even don't know how to keep the flower. Flower should be in the pot, right? And you put in a pot. Why should it be so disciplined in the pot? It can be also outside, right? So, look. Whereas if there is love and affection, right? If opposite of selfishness is love and affection, where this love and affection is so beautiful, if you keep it there, right? And you come. I'm very sorry, I put it there. No, don't worry. It looks so beautiful. It's so aesthetic. Yeah, it's so natural, so aesthetic. And you put it there. That's also very nice. You know where to put it. It's amazing. It's on the other other side of the table. It's also nice, right? It's aesthetic, so beautiful. So whatever the other person does is so beautiful. Whereas when the selfishness is there, whatever the other person does is negative. You will just shout at that person, show anger towards the other person. Meanwhile, you are very disturbed. You're getting it? Okay. If you come to a place where the wall is dirty, are you happy, not happy? You're not happy, right? So one time I was invited for lunch. I went there. And the moment I went into the house, the wall there, it was so dirty with a pencil sketch like this. And I was put off. But I didn't say anything. I was a guest there. And the mother came. And mother said, Gisela, this is a painting of my two daughters. When you look at things with love and affection, everything is beautiful. It's a painting. When you don't love, it's dirty. You're getting it? So, when you feel beautiful, what's the feeling like? Pleasant, unpleasant? Very pleasant feeling. When you interpret that as dirty, what's the feeling? Unpleasant feeling. And you like pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling? Unpleasant feeling. Who created that? Because that's selfishness, no love. That's one which creates unpleasant feeling. In all unpleasant feelings, somehow the selfishness is there. You're getting it? But when you go through difficulties, abused by somebody else and so forth, you feel unhappy. Don't feel that, oh, I learned from something that this selfishness is my selfishness, I'm so bad. Don't think like this. We should be very realistic. You're getting it? Very realistic. Say, is it because of selfishness? My answer is yes. But don't blame yourself, right? Selfishness has so many layers. 10%, 20%, 50%, 60%, 70%. Above 60% is to be, above 60%, conventional world, we see that this is not acceptable. 50% below is okay in the conventional world. You're getting it? So, don't blame yourself, but what do you want? You want a conventional, the happiness that you see in the conventional world, or much more than this? What do you want? If you much more than this, then you have to see the demerits of the self-cherishing on the subtler level also, not only above 50%. You're getting it? So these, what we are learning, should not be seen as to judge yourself, to make yourself demoralized, to judge others. No. So first, stay till 50%. As long as your the selfishness above 50% is cut and get down to 50%, it's okay. You are successful in your practice. Then study more. You see that your mind, this is not the limit of your mind. Your mind can go beyond. Your mind can experience way, way, way more, say, unbelievable joy and happiness, which ordinary people cannot even imagine. What is that? That is by removing the subtler selfishness. You're getting it? Okay. With this in mind, what I'd like to share with you is how selfishness is so harmful to us, not only to you, to me also. You're getting it? Anything where I feel uncomfortable, you feel uncomfortable, somehow the selfishness is involved to some degree. You're getting it? In what way the selfishness is harmful? Is in the first place, say somebody says something nasty to me, I feel offended, I feel so upset, unhappy, sad. So this feeling of sadness is not what I want, but it's because of negative karma which I did somewhere in the past. So how the selfishness and self-centered attitude and self-grasping ignorance, how these two are so devious, how they are so cunning, so poisonous, is that I suffer because of my contaminated karmas that I accumulated in the past, negative karmas. So what made me accumulate negative karma? Because of the afflictions. What made me have these afflictions? Because of the inappropriate attention. What made me have the inappropriate attention? Self-grasping ignorance complemented by this self-centered attitude. These two, right? So these two in the past made me to accumulate negative karma. And these karmas now rapid in the form of undesirable experiences. Today, for example, ill health, or meeting with people always abusing you, right? So these are the negative karma. Now, even if you meet with these unconducive factors, you may feel sad, you may not feel sad. If you feel sad, again self-centered anger, sadness, whatever, again self-centered attitude, self-grasping, if these two are acting on you. If these two are not there, even if you encounter with a difficult situation, your mind will not be disturbed. The fact that you are disturbed means that these two are again acting on the spot. So these two are so harmful to us in two ways. One, in ways of creating negative karma initially. Now when ripening the negative karma, again these two act for you to feel the pain. If these two are not there, you will not feel the pain. You're getting it? So from this what we see is that these two are so bad in initially shooting the arrow of the karma. You're getting it? Who shot the arrow of the karma? Self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered. These two shot the arrow from the past. How many, and these arrows are flying in the air. How many arrows are shot? Millions of arrows shot. They are in the air, still in the air. Right? In the air. And they say, suddenly something goes wrong, which means an arrow hit you, right? Of the millions, some arrows are hitting you, some are still in the air. You're getting it? And who shot the arrow? Self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. So they shot the arrow, and if the arrow is not there at all, you don't have to suffer. But the arrow already shot by these two demons. Now, not only they shot the arrow there, they manifest themselves in you now. They try to remove the shield. If you have the shield, arrow hits you, it cannot harm you, right? If you have the shield like this, if the arrow hits you like this, for example, like this, the arrow, the shield stops you, right? And these two, again, what they do is that they remove the shield, so that arrow hits you directly and you are pained, right? What's the shield? Bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness. Self-grasping ignorance removes the wisdom of emptiness. Self-centered attitude removes the bodhicitta. Two shields are removed, right? So these two demons will make the arrow hit you and you feel the pain. And some pains, sometimes the pains are so acute that you go into depression, anxiety. You getting it? So who are responsible? These two demons. So our job is to eradicate these two demons. You getting it? Eradicate these two demons. So the safe haven for you to run away from this demon of self-centered attitude is, hey, what's the safe haven? What's the protection from running away from this self-centered attitude, the demon of self-centered attitude? Bodhicitta. You are getting it? And long run, wisdom of emptiness. Bodhicitta. Or cherishing others in simple terms. You cherish others, self-centered attitude will diminish. You are getting it? You'll be free from the enemy of the self-centered attitude. This is so important. So therefore, the more you see the demerit of cherishing oneself, the more you see the other cherishing as a protection for you. For example, if you see that there's somebody who there's a burglar with a knife, and you happen to be close by, and suddenly you see, let's say the venerable, let's say the Nicola there, who's so loving, caring, and very big, right? What will you do? You'll jump to Nicola, please help me. Yes? You agree? Not agree? Huh? Hey. Yes, right? If there's somebody with a knife coming to chase you, and you see Nicola there, right? You know from there's something, Nicola is so kind, right? You'll jump to Nicola, please protect me. So you are jumping there, not to be kind to Nicola, seeing help from Nicola, right? So Nicola is like for us cherishing others. Cherishing others is not for others; it's actually to seek benefit, to seek protection for you. Protection from self-centered attitude, from this robber, from this enemy of self-centered attitudes. It's a big, if you could really feel it, then you just cherishing others, you feel like, wow, I'm so grateful to you. You are protecting me from my demon of self-centered attitude. You are protecting me, not that I'm doing something for you, right? So when you feel that I'm doing something for you, then your, say, the affection will not be too strong. So this practice, so you see that I'm cherishing you, and the more I cherish you, I'm more protected from the selfishness. So this is the initial experience. You feel like cherishing others, and do you think that you'll feel burnout with this? If this is a situation where you feel that you cherish others, means that you are being protected from the demon of self-centered attitude. Do you feel burnout or not? You will never feel burnout. You're doing that for yourself, not for others. You're getting it? It's so precious. Then in the process, what happens? So this first stage of cherishing others. This is what the Kamalji asked, right? The first stage where you cherish others and you get the maximum benefit. So with this intention. Then later on, as you practice, then you will see the wonder of cherishing others, the beauty of cherishing others. The more you cherish others, gradually you cherish others, you see how demonic it is to cherish oneself. In the process, your affection towards others gradually transmutes into the mother's love. Gradually. Then you will not look for cherishing others, I get the benefit. This thought will gradually go away. And cherishing others becomes very natural. Like how the mother feels towards the child. You're getting, this is the second phase. When you reach to that second phase, is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. When you reach second phase, it'll take time to reach the second phase. Even the first phase is so beautiful. Even the first phase is amazingly beautiful. Okay, so how we take the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion. Taking suffering. There are so many ways of doing it, and what I'm sharing with you, don't think that you, after the retreat, you learn from somebody else, some other techniques or some other ways. Oh, that is wrong. I learned from, Thosamling Geshe that person is teaching wrong. Oh, Geshe is wrong. Oh, that is wrong. No. As long as it helps you to remove your selfishness, all these practices targeted as the taking the suffering of others is perfect. It's not necessary that only one is correct, other is wrong. Okay. So, taking suffering from others. Suffering is of three kinds. What are they? Now you already know that. Suffering change, pervasive condition suffering, three sufferings. So first you take the suffering of the gross one, suffering. You take the suffering of others. If you can think of your say the near and dear ones, family members in hospital or dying and so forth, you visualize them. And otherwise it's not necessary only your family members. Anyone that who you know as somebody they're suffering of illness or encountering with tragedies, difficulties, visualize them, and then as you breathe in, visualize that all the suffering, the manifest suffering that they're going through, they are pulled towards you in the form of a extremely dirty water gushing through your left nostril. Just imagine that they are gushing through your left nostril in the form of very dirty water gushing through your left nostril, and they enter through your left nostril and go through your throat and down. And at the heart, imagine that your self-centered attitude, which is with us since time immemorial till today, where you have only endorsed its activities. You have never said no. We only endorse. Oh, yes, whatever you use, correct. Today you are saying no. You are saying all this dirty acidic water through your left nostril, and then they meet with the self-centered attitude. And imagine that these dirty water, they eat up the self-centered attitude and they go down your stomach, legs, then underground, they go down, right? Self-centered attitude is eaten up. Just visualize them. Alongside, the great masters also say that if you can, while you imagine the self-centered attitude is actually hiding there in your heart, and even your heart is eaten up. There's no place for this self-centered attitude to hide, right? Heart is eaten up. What do you feel if the heart is eaten up? You'll feel a jerk. You'll feel a tremendous scare. You're getting it? If that happens, it is attacking the self-centered attitude. Where you do this practice, you feel really uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is scary. A self-centered attitude is attacked. That's whole purpose. Whereas by doing so, if it's acutely scary, you cannot bear it, then stop it for the time being. And if you feel free, you can discuss with me or discuss with anybody else who does the practice or who teaches the practice. Okay. Otherwise, if you feel a little scared, it's very good that your self-centered attitude is attacked. You're getting it? Our job is to get into the self-centered attitude. Okay. This is one. Then likewise, now the second, do it like 3 times. As you breathe out, imagine that it fights with the self-centered attitude and eats up the self-centered attitude plus your heart both, and it goes down. Again you breathe in the suffering of others in the form of very dirty, the acidic water gushing through your left nostril and getting into the heart and eating up the self-centered attitude and the heart also and going down, right? Do it 3 times. Okay, we will do that. Okay, let's sit up properly. Okay, just quickly visualize any specific pain of somebody who you know who you know, somebody going through illness or the tragedies, ill fate, or whatever problems, somebody you know is going through, and take the suffering in the form of very dirty water as you breathe in. Okay, let's do it 3 times. Okay, good. Now take the suffering of change in the form of the mundane happiness in the form of bait to deceive us, extremely deceptive in nature, in the form of again a very dirty, black, smelly, pungent water, acetic, gushing through your left nostril, and doing the same thing 3 times. The suffering change of other beings. Okay, next, pervasive conditioned suffering in the form of contaminated karmas and the afflictions of the other beings, particularly the mastermind, self-grasping, ignorance, and self-centered attitude. You take them, and again, same thing, 3 times. Okay, good. So in this you can be as creative. For example, like say the suffering fathers, suffering that you can think of, the people who are going through the pains, illness, and so forth, and also for example, like the sea creatures in like the crabs, fish, and so forth in the 5-star hotel. So there, the cooks pick them up, break the legs, and then boil in the hot oil, right? If you can sometimes do these exercises. For example, like you imagine that you're going there to the chef, to talk to the chef, please let go of this crab, let go of this fish, instead of chopping them, before chopping them, let go of this fish, and if I will buy these, and let them be released, rescued, and imagine that they meet with their relatives, their kinds, they're so happy. And then you can be even more creative if you can. Say that if at all you have to cook somebody there, cook me instead of this, let go. And imagine that your limbs are being cut, and then you are thrown directly into the hot boiling oil. What is that reaction? It's a very scary reaction. So it attacks the self-centered attitude. But by doing this, if it is too unbearable, don't do it. Do a little milder than that, milder in ways of buying these poor animals. They're released, and you are happy. They're happy. Whereas if you can do it more creatively, and if it doesn't really, make you like really go crazy, then you cannot concentrate at all. You become insane. Don't do that. If you can, then you can be a little creative like this, and like the victims in the hands of the terrorist. Again, imagine that you go there, talk to terrorists, that I will pay you ransom, release this captive, and let the person meet with the family members. They're so happy. Or another more creative would be that if at all you have to kill somebody, kill me. If you at all you want to slit somebody, slit my throat, right? And imagine that other person released, very happy, and then the terrorist slitting your throat. And what do you feel? You feel like a fear, like what? What do you call this? What experience? What is the reaction? Huh? Terrified, right? Terrified, and there's a deep anxiety there. When these things happen, actually, don't worry, your throat is not slit. But when you feel that, it is attacking your self-centered attitude. You're getting it? But by thinking this, if your mind really go out of control and so scared, and if you have a panic attack, then don't do it. Don't do that. Do something milder. You're getting it? Okay, very good. Okay, good. Next is number 5. Giving a happiness with emphasis on. Hey, number 5. Giving a happiness with emphasis on loving kindness. Again, same thing. What I do, what I'm sharing with you, don't think that this is the ultimate, right? Don't think anything else is something different from what I'm doing is wrong. Don't think like this. Everything is correct as well, as long as your compassion is growing. Good. Okay. Giving. Giving means generosity. Giving means generosity. And generosity, there are 4 kinds of generosity. In generosity, there are 4 kinds of generosity. Generosity doesn't mean only money, only material. There are 4 kinds of generosity. Number 1, generosity of material resources. Number 1, generosity of material resources. Number 2, generosity of love and affection. Generosity of affection. Number 3, generosity of protection, or generosity of fearlessness. Fearlessness or protection. Number 4, generosity of dharma. Let me repeat it. Generosity of material resources, generosity of affection, generosity of protection and fearlessness, and generosity of dharma. 4. Okay, so we do one by one. Say, as you breathe out, now giving means breathing out. As you breathe out, your breath, it goes out through your right nostril. Air goes through your right nostril in the form of extremely soothing white. Okay, Ben, 4 kinds of generosity. Good. Okay. The first, generosity of the, what was the first one? Material resources. Money, food, clothing, house, the material resources. As you breathe out, the air that you breathe out, the breath that you breathe out, and that you visualize that in these in the form of, okay, these nothing but a manifestation of your virtues, of your wealth, material resources, and the virtues which give rise to these material resources. Your virtues, material resources, they manifest in the form of the white and very soothing light that you breathe out through your right nostril. They go out, and they go out and they meet with the people who are deprived of material resources. Meet the moment these lights and the nectars they touch with the beings, these lights and nectars they transform into material resources, whatever they like, whatever they want, the food, the clothing, or the houses, or whatever they need, it transforms them, and their material resources are being taken care of. And you just feel that they are so happy now, and you also feel so happy. I'm able to do something for all my dear sentient beings. Ready? 3 times as you breathe out. Okay. Next is giving generosity of affection. We see that many people they go through depression. Depression mainly because of lacking love and affection. Where you give love and affection, or you just listen to them, what they have to say, listen to them, spend some time with them, they just feel the healing right away. They start feeling the healing. You getting it? So, giving love and affection is so important, so precious. So with this love and affection, we see that many of the problems will be solved. Unnecessary problems will be solved. And particularly people going through depression, stress, and mental stress, and so forth, when you give this love and affection, they feel the healing. Okay. I remember one of my teachers, Venerable Geshe Dorji, who was a hermit, who was a hermit himself, and then you could feel that he radiates his love and affection, and like the people which they shared with you, some of the people who when meet with His Holiness, tears flow. They could feel this love and affection, right? Okay. So with this, the people are deprived of love and affection. Some people, they seem to be so physically strong and very rough, but deep inside, everybody craves for affection from others. Everybody. Okay. So, again, as you breathe out the practice of bodhicitta, compassion, loving kindness, all these things, they flow in all your virtues, all the practices of the bodhicitta and so forth, they flow in the form of the white light and very soothing nectars through your right nostril. They go out, they're mere touch with the beings, they manifest in the form of the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Arya Tara, Arya Manjushri, Arya Bhakti, and so forth. And then they give so much love to us, and you also there, listen to them, advise them, just chat with them, spend time with them, listen to them by giving this love and affection, and they just imagine they feel right away they feel the healing, right? And then finally healing takes place because of this, the affection. So you do it 3 times. Okay, ready? Okay, good. Next is generosity of protection and fearlessness. As I said earlier about the victims in the hands of terrorists, or the animals in the hands of the chef, and the poor chickens in the KFC, on all the slaughterhouses. Just think of that and imagine that as you breathe out, again, all your virtues, wisdom of emptiness, compassion, they all flow through your right nostril in the form of white and soothing light and nectars. And the mere touch of these, they manifest in the form of yourself there. And then you meeting with the terrorists, you meeting with the cooks, you meeting with the KFC people there, and then talking to them and rescuing these animals. Or you be in the hospitals and imagine that you do some practice, and then the people who are on the verge to die, they recover. And so this protection of their life, they give them fearlessness. This happens in great abundance. Okay, 3 times. Okay, good. What is next? Generosity of Dharma. Okay, generosity of Dharma. Generosity of Dharma, we see that Dharma, what we do in the early morning and the last 4-5 days. We have been doing the Dharma of renunciation, Bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, right? 3 principal aspects of the path, 3 principal paths, 3. And shamatha, we include this in the form of wisdom. So 4 combined into 3. When you give the Dharma, say, finally, the beings can best be benefited by Dharma. Why the beings are suffering from the suffering, all the sufferings, is because of the particular suffering is because of harming others. Negative karma, harming others. We need to teach them how to stop harming others. What is that teaching? Constituted of primarily teaching on renunciation, to renounce harming others. Then your suffering will stop. You're getting it? To renounce harming others. The first Dharma is Dharma of the renunciation. Second Dharma is, while they don't want suffering, they also want maximum happiness. Happiness is result of universal compassion. So second is the Dharma of Bodhicitta. Number 2. Then the renunciation and Bodhicitta, both are in the form of aspiration. Renunciation, may I be freed from suffering. Bodhicitta, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. In both cases, is may. Aspiration. It's not, your 2 goals are not materialized yet. These are aspirations. So, how to materialize these 2 aspirations? Something to remove your mental defilements. What is that? The wisdom, not emptiness, wisdom of emptiness. You're getting it? Wisdom. That's the third Dharma that you give, is the wisdom of emptiness. You're getting it? And the 4th Dharma you want to give, which I do, right, which I did not mention, is the non-dual, the non-duality of the bliss and emptiness. Non-duality of the bliss and emptiness. This is 4th one. That is to expedite your path to benefit the beings. To expedite the path of the beings. Make them become Buddha very quickly. You getting it? Okay. Benla. The 4 Dharmas. Iran, bliss. Okay, now we will quickly do these four one by one, and then we'll stop here for this session. So first, giving the dharma of renunciation. Okay, as you breathe out, visualize the nectars and soothing lights, they flow, and they're the mere touch with the beings, all the sentient beings. These nectars, they manifest in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni, Are Manjushri, Are Tara, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all these enlightened Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and yourself also there. Because finally you have to take the responsibility. Don't just assign them to do it. You also have to do it yourself, right? Just do that, and then imagine that all these enlightened beings, including you, are teaching renunciation. How to renounce harming others. How to renounce self-grasping ignorance. How to renounce contaminant karmas. How to renounce afflictions. Say, how to renounce predominantly, how to renounce harming others. Okay. And then everybody listens to all these enlightened beings. They learn, yes, this is what I should be doing. And they're so happy with the receiving teaching on the renunciation. Feel that? You also feel the joy that I'm so glad that today I'm able to protect the beings from having to otherwise go through suffering. Okay, 3 times together. Good. Next, the Dharma of the Bodhicitta. Again, you see that they give the teachings of Bodhicitta, where everyone feels that now not only that I don't harm others, but I should benefit others with the Bodhicitta spirit. Everybody is now cultivating a very strong feeling, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And you feel the joy. 3 times together. Good. Next, the Dharma of wisdom of emptiness. So here, and you imagine that all these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they teach the wisdom of emptiness, and that everybody is realizing that, oh, everything's like a dream, there's nothing really objectively there. I should not be affected by anything else, and my mind can flow freely towards all the beings. So this is how each one of us can attain freedom from or attain fearlessness and infinite happiness. 3 times together. Okay, here in this case, if possible, try to get a glimpse of emptiness yourself and imagine that everybody is realizing this emptiness. Okay, next. Dhamma of non-duality of the bliss and emptiness. So this is to expedite the path to become enlightened very quickly, right? Okay, for this again you imagine that all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are given the teaching of how the mind can experience that total feeling. For example, like you don't have to go through, for example, let's say that the practice of Dharma, and then you go to Himalaya, you bear the problem of the cold and so forth. No, your mind is full of the bliss and joy, and see the emptiness, where that remove the mental defilements, become very spontaneous, very fast. Okay, and that happens to all the beings because the teaching is happening. 3 times together. Okay, now you feel the joy that I'm able to engage in the generosity of all the 4 kinds for all my dear mothers and sentient beings. Okay, good. We'll stop here. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. 3 prostrations.